I'm checking out the GigaByke Groove, which is sort of reminiscent of a Vespa or, you know, a scooter, but it also has pedals, and it's got some sort of limitations on power and speed that technically qualify this to be like a bicycle, classified as a bicycle. I want to hit some of the specs because I've been, you know, hanging out with Sam from the Electric Bicycle Center in Fullerton. He carries these. He has some background to give, but I independently was trying to like research this and figure it all out. So just like a little scooter, you have a key, you stick it in the ignition, you turn to the right, your display lights up, you got a horn. It's actually a pretty loud horn. Got some turn signals over here, to the left, to the right. You press the middle and it disengages them. Another horn button over here. We've got some sort of running lights, brights. The headlight was actually very bright, 30 LEDs up here. Here's the turn signals, there we go, and it comes down. Thanks, Sam. It's kind of cool to see the lights in action. There's a tail light, but apparently they aren't DOT approved. And again, that's because this is technically, it's kind of like an electric bicycle. It's a heavy electric bicycle. We were weighing it earlier, 148 pounds, so not light. Most electric bikes I check out are around 50 to 60 pounds, so it's, you know, kind of double that. Even the battery on this, it's a little bit lower end, which does make this affordable. This is $13.99. Is that right, Sam?
Yeah.
$13.99 for, you know, you get the lights, you get like something that looks pretty cool. I was measuring this earlier. It's about 18 inches, so kind of a medium-sized frame, 12-inch reach, so it's definitely upright. You got the mirrors and everything. There's those trade-offs between like, is it a bicycle? Not really. And, you know, I don't know of very many bicycles besides cargo bikes that have foot pegs and a second kind of an extended saddle so someone could ride with you, and apparently there might be a box coming out that sits on the back. So, you know, with the fenders, with the coilover like springs in the back and the bigger springs up front, and even these bigger tires, they're thicker, they're smaller diameter, so 16 by 3 inches, they're fatter, tubeless. This is a little bit more reminiscent of like a scooter, but then again, you have these pedals. Now, I want to talk about these pedals for a second. 148 pounds, 4-inch crank arms, 1 gear. Not going to be fun to pedal this thing around. Have you tried to pedal around, Sam?
I did. I went around the parking lot.
And it worked?
Yeah, it's got the right gear ratio so that you can move along at about 2 miles an hour.
Okay.
Perhaps if your battery's dead or something along those lines.
That's nice. And, you know, so again, it's sort of like the old Subaru Brat. Do you remember that car?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Right, and it was like a truck, but in order to like avoid import duties on being a truck, they were like, no, it's a passenger car. They got seats in the back.
Yeah, they had seats in the back.
Seats in the back. So I feel like that's what they're doing here. But I mean, 20 mile per hour top speed, 750 watt, gearless direct drive motor in the back. Gearless, a little bit heavier because it's just got big magnets and stators that pass it. It's not taking a little motor spinning fast and up converting it to slower. Maybe that's down converting. Is that down converting it? Whatever. So basically the point is it's heavier, but it's also more robust. You can see that this is cast. Appears to be like kind of some alloy, maybe aluminum. The frame on this is steel, which is part of the weight. If we come up to the front, I think these are actually plastic rims. But they feel solid, you know, and you've got a lot of cushion there. But between the suspension, the bigger tires and everything, you know, it's a relatively comfortable ride, and that saddle's just sort of foam. We've got a little bit of a kind of a shield right here to maybe protect the display panel. I can talk about some of the readouts on this real quick too. So we've got 6 bars for your battery, an odometer. You can see the brights coming on and off there, and then just speed, miles per hour in the center. It's kind of everything you need. I could see myself in Bermuda or somewhere, you know, maybe Indonesia, renting one of these, cruising around the islands.
That's a good point. Yeah, it would be a good rental. And to use some language, is it a moped? Is it an electric bike? By definition, and it's got like a license plate.
I noticed that. Yeah, look at this thing.
So you probably could go down to your local DMV and fill out a moped registration card, which then they send to Sacramento and they'll send you back a plate. Costs $19. Now, this is in California, and every state's different, so there's different laws in different states. But it's 750 watts and a top speed of 20 miles an hour with twist throttle. It actually is technically a Class 2 electric bike.
Yeah.
And where would so I've sold something like this similar in the past multiple times. The first go around, it was much larger, bigger, and you know, can you ride it in the bike lane? Yeah, I'd go for the bike lane because at 20 miles an hour, you're kind of hindering the flow of traffic.
Right, so this is the side of the street. These are bike lanes with painted stripes.
So I would probably ride this either in a residential area, maybe like a country club to get to the pool or the clubhouse. Around town, yeah, but you want to stay to the back roads. I wouldn't want to be going down to Commonwealth or one of my major, like Harbor Boulevard here where we live, where the flow of traffic's maybe 40, 45 miles an hour. I would feel scared riding this because it kind of looks like a scooter.
Yeah.
But you know, it's kind of an in between there. You know how to classify it.
Well, you're right by Cal State Fullerton. There are a lot of students where it's like, I'm going to class, I don't want to get sweaty, and pedaling this thing, it's not really, it's you put your gear on it and you go to class and you're in the neighborhoods and you park it and it's like, okay, it's more of a vehicle that way.
The other thing is the way this is a Class 2 bike. You don't need licensing, registration, or insurance.
So you save a lot of money that way. That's a good point.
So yeah, if you don't necessarily want to ride a bicycle, you really don't ride this like a bicycle. You ride it more like a scooter, or a moped. So once you get it started and going, you just keep your feet on the pegs, the pedals rather.
Yeah.
And you just cruise around on it, and you've got a nice, comfortable seat here to sit on.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So some of the other things before you get too far, I think I mentioned the fenders. They're just plastic, but they've got good coverage. They should keep you dry. You can even tuck your feet in here and kind of ride like, knees together. I've seen that, quite a bit with people on these. Up front, this is a little kind of like a purse or a bag hanger, maybe for your helmet. Is that what you're gonna show me?
Yeah.
It doesn't lock or anything. So if you were at a bike rack with this is a harder bike to steal or mess with. It's heavy. You can, put your cable right through that front wheel. There's no quick release or anything. How do you store these? You're a motorcycle guy, Sam. Like, if someone brings this to a shop or something, do you even lock it up?
You turn the front end one way and turn the key one extra notch. Locks the front end.
Whoa, that is sweet. Dang, I'm so glad we covered that.
Yeah.
So turn it all the way to the left, turn the key down, and it locks it. So they could hop on and pedal it in circles, right?
Or they could lift it up and throw it in the back of the car if you had a truck, if you had two guys.
Okay, so there's still a reason to maybe get a lock, especially if it's an overnight kind of situation. But that's like a cafe lock, like run into the store.
But I think the point you made earlier is it's harder for somebody to just jump on this and take off on it.
Yeah.
You can lock the front end up, whereas a bicycle, if you don't have it locked up, the higher probability of it will be stolen.
Yeah, okay. Let's look under the saddle here again, because that was one of the big points. Yes, this is relatively affordable for what you're getting. There's some cheaper stuff on it. I mean, look at these pedals. They're just plastic, really basic. I love that it has 2 kickstands. You've got the center stand, which is better for loading. It's very stable, but it's also got a side stand, which is more convenient, quicker to just put that down, and the bike kind of leans to the side. But the big drawback of this, you're like, well, why don't I just get this? It's heavy, and the battery is heavy. This is, they call it silicone. Here, should I take this out? Yeah. They call it silicone, but it's like a sealed lead acid. Does have a removable fuse, which is great, replaceable. It looks like it could potentially be charged on or off the bike. This is the primary charging port is right here under it. And that's where you plug it in when you get it on the bike. I'm not sure if power goes in or out on that, but the battery, is like 41.5 pounds.
Yeah, it's a heavy battery because it's lead acid, and you basically got 4 12-volt, 14 amp hour batteries. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
That makes it 48 volt, 14 amp hour.
Right, this is big. And as far as electric bicycles, a lot of them have 36 volt, 10 amp hour. So we're going up to 48 volts, it's a little bit more powerful that way, and then 14 amp hours. So we were estimating the range. I think on the website they say 36 miles, but it was like maybe 20 to 30, depending on your rider and where you're...
And again, on a bike like this, you're going to be probably not pedaling it at all.
Yeah.
So think of riding your electric bicycle and not pedaling it. How far can you go?
Yeah.
Versus
far.
this, it's going to go pretty good with this massive battery in here.
Yeah, it for what it is, for the price and everything, it's pretty polished. And it comes in a bunch of different colors. There's like green, yellow, red, black, silver, white. Maybe the black and silver aren't available. I saw them on the website, but kind of the updated, this is like the newest version we're looking at. It's 2016 May. It's a nice little thing, and it looks decent, but you can actually replace these panels with different colors or just straight up order a different color. I might hop on and do a little ride.
Sure.
Am I missing anything else, Sam?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the actual style of the bike.
Yeah.
Originally, back about 2006, we met these guys at Interbike, and they were running a company called Spooky Tooth, which was gas-powered bike kits, and they were out of like Tempe, Arizona, or somewhere over in Arizona, and they ended up selling their business to a local guy here in Orange County up in Brea, and cool. He just showed up with a shop one day and kind of showed me the product, and I'm like, you know what, I've seen this before. Again, at Interbike, I'd seen a company called E-Road, and there's those out there that probably have the E-Road product.
Okay.
And you'll notice the frame and the shocks very similar to the E-Road. So again, it's just somebody that's taken an existing model, or template, if you will, kind of tweaked it a little bit and rebranded it, and brought it back out onto the market. And we used to sell the E-Road product line. Unfortunately, that was a company that came and went.
Okay.
And this company is local for us, so that's why I like to sell it, is local, right in my backyard, and I can just go to them and get anything I need as far as service work done. Or,
sounds like it has a year-long warranty too, right?
Yeah, 1-year warranty on the product, correct.
Okay. Well, that's neat. That was going to be one of my questions, was like, why do you carry this? You know, you're predominantly electric bikes, but you dabble in the scooters and you have some other things. This is an electric bike.
Yeah,
kinda.
so again, I've tried selling other products similar to this in the past, and I didn't do too successful with it. I would only sell maybe like 2 or 3 a year, and that's really not enough to like stock it on my showroom floor. But as time progresses and as electric bikes are getting more popular, there is once in a while a customer looking specifically for this. This is what they're asking for.
I see.
So I'll put it on the showroom floor, and I wouldn't carry it other than the fact that the guy's local to me. And so I can go and, I mean, he's just like 10 minutes away, I can be at his warehouse.
I've been hanging out in your shop for a week now, you know, doing a bunch of reviews, and this bike gets a lot of attention. People come in, they're like, wow, is this electric too? And I feel like it's not overly large. It's not so threatening. This isn't a motorcycle-sized thing, but you know, it just feels a little bit, it almost feels safer. You got the mirrors. You said these were perch mount. They're flat, so it's just not convex. It's not changing the view or anything.
Yeah. Again, it's similar to a moped. I mean, it's a different category than an electric bike, but technically it's an electric bike because it's got the pedals on it and a top speed of 20 miles an hour, and they've kept the engine size at 750 watts. So they've kind of like looked at California law.
Got the pedals. They got the the other advantages of something like this in general versus a moped. People are like, just buy a moped or what, and it's like, dude, I mean, you work on gas engines and stuff. Can you tell me about the noise and about some of the other?
We started out as a moped shop back in the 1970s, and I mean, they sold hundreds of thousands of mopeds here in Southern California. There were over 120 moped shops in the phone book.
Wow.
When I started working for Myron back in like 1982. So mopeds though back then were old school. They had points and condensers. They had you had to pull a decompression level to get them started. They were 2-stroke gas powered, and now because of CARB, California Air Resource Board, and EPA, there are no more 2-stroke sold. So it's very hard to find a 4-stroke moped that's still on the marketplace. The only one I can think of is maybe the SSR Motorsports sells a 4-stroke moped with a 2-speed transmission.
Wow.
Also, the mopeds way back in the day were treated like a bicycle, and then they started to regulate them. You have to wear a helmet. You have to have a motorcycle license to operate it. And still to this day, if it is considered a moped, you've got to license it, you've got to register it, you've got to insure it, and you've got to have a Class 2 motorcycle license to operate it. This, you need none of that.
That's awesome. And maybe there is some range anxiety. Yes, that you can't just go to a gas station and fill right up. It's going to take a while. They say 4 to 6 hours to charge. That's a while.
If you're just cruising around town and doing the post office, the bank, the great thing on this is you could probably carry, they're going to be building a trunk for the back here. Yeah. And you could put a bag or two of groceries and carry them with you on this type of a product, and you might feel a little safer on this than you would a bicycle.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I love it. I'm going to hop on. I mentioned that quiet. I don't love loud noises, as you know. So the gas motors and stuff, I mean, listen, this is like full power. Super quiet. Super smooth. It's durable. You know, so for me, that's a pro. Hop on this thing, you charge it. Yeah, so maybe we can...
Did you call out the hydraulic front disc brake?
Oh, yeah, we should call that out. It's great point, Sam. So there's sort of like, what would you call it in the back?
It's a band brake on the back, mechanical band brake here. And on the front...
You can see it right down here.
Yeah, that's it.
Kind of squeezes these plates and rubs on like a disc.
You're correct, or it's yeah. So, and then on the front, you've got your hydraulic brake, which has got awesome stopping power.
It's like 150 millimeter,
right?
I think what we were saying.
Yeah. The only shortcoming I find on the bike is it's a little bit choppy on the ride. The suspension, when you ride it, I think you'll tell that. The center stand kind of bounces on the bottom. They might use a little bit tighter spring to hold that up.
I see.
But you'll notice when you ride it how it performs and how it feels. Of course, I'm a much heavier rider.
Will you hop on it for real quick, and then I'll take a test ride? It's nice to see someone on the bike. Yes, you're a taller guy.
Yeah.
And you're, what are you, 260 you were saying?
Yeah, I'm about 260.
So you can see the suspension working.
Got about 3 inches of travel on the front.
3-inch travel, yeah.
And on the back, probably about the same, I'd say. But really bouncy, you know? It's kind of bouncy. So I'll just cruise around the park.
Not a lot of damping going on there.
And again, pretty good power. This thing takes off pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's getting it done. You know, yeah, you make it look a little small, but it works. his knees aren't colliding with those handlebars too much. You can see if he tries to turn a lot, there'd be a little bit of collision.
I actually find I have more room on this than a Honda Ruckus. If I'm sitting on a Honda Ruckus and I've got my feet on the foot pegs up here, my knees are into the actual handlebar area. This, because it's got the 5-inch rise on the handlebars here,
oh yeah,
I have a little bit more room to clear.
That's a good point.
But again, I'm probably not going to be riding this. It's for a particular style of customer that's coming in looking for this particular need. This is a different demographic, I think, that's going to be purchasing this bike.
Okay, and we talked about the thickness on the tires and stuff. I mean, they're tubeless. You know, that's always a concern with me on bicycles. What if? How does someone deal with a flat? Do you get a flat on stuff?
You know, the great thing about this is we've got local motorcycle shops. A motorcycle shop will probably be more than likely to work on something like this than they would a electric bicycle.
I see.
So you've got different areas you can go to get service work done on this as well.
Okay. Awesome, man. I'm gonna hop on this thing and just give it a quick ride, do some different camera angles. That's the little kickstand that I love. It's a little bit easier to operate. Just a standard grip on the left, big oversized brake levers with, I think this is like a DOT type of thing in Europe where they have the big ball at the end so you don't slide off. That throttle is active at all times. So we were moving this around earlier and I accidentally like slipped on it and it took off. And so it was like, just be careful when the bike is on, you wanna, you know, treat it, just kind of be sensitive to that. So the whole grip twists, just like most motorcycles, kind of twist it, takes off. It's a variable speed throttle, so it's really smooth. Those mirrors. It's pretty cool. You know, it's a nice feeling thing. I'm twisting this all the way and it's not like it's throwing me off. I mean, we're at 14, 15, 16. I only weigh 135 pounds. So, you know, it's not the torquiest thing in the world. It's a little bit more of like a gradual speed increase up to that 20 miles per hour, but it does feel comfortable with that suspension. I like it. I'm having fun on this thing. It's cool to get all of Sam's knowledge and, you know, sharing about just the different products. Again, Electric Bicycle Center, Fullerton, California. Really appreciate getting to hang out and check out these things and get that deeper insight. For the full write-up on this and other light electric vehicles, I'll see you back at ElectricRideReview.com, where I've also done more measurements like the standover height, the length, all that other stuff that sometimes the companies don't provide. So I'll see you there, and of course, ride safe.